If you've ever been discarded by the narcissist when you were trauma bonded to them, you would know how difficult it is to get over that addictive feeling that you need that person in your life, that no other person or no other activity can satisfy the the presence that the narcissist previously had in your life. It really is one of the most difficult things to get over the trauma bond after the narcissist discards you, because when you are trauma bonded to the narcissist, it really is like having an addiction to a hard drug, where there's certain expectations that you have, that your body has, in terms of certain kinds of euphoric hits, certain types of adrenaline rushes that only the narcissist can provide you with, that no one else can. It doesn't mean it's healthy, having severe downs, then euphoric highs followed by more severe downs, not really settling in the middle of the emotional spectrum very much. That's not healthy at all. But it is what the relationship with a narcissist is like. You really do feel those highs, then the lows, then the highs, then the lows, you know. And the longer you're with them, the more you feel the lows with only the very occasional highs. But anyway, the ups and downs, the push-pull, the trauma bond, it really creates that addictive feel of you towards them, where your body is just kind of used to that, that adrenaline, the the extreme emotions, uncertainty, paranoia, bliss, all that mix of feelings that comes with that. It's a huge loss once you lose it. Even if you know that a lot of it was very bad, most of it may have been very bad, you still miss it in a way that you can't quite explain. And it feels like, whatever you do, whether it's meeting other people, exercise, new hobbies, nothing really hits the same spot for a long time. Maybe at best 5-10% of that kind of adrenaline, that feel that you're looking for. Maybe only about 5-10% of that feel you can get from other activities. So it really is that addictive feeling you have towards the narcissist that makes it so difficult to get past them, because nothing else satisfies that. That they were your drug. And once you start recovering and you're well on the path to recovery, and you're starting to get over them, and the chemical imbalance and you starting to wear off, such that you don't feel such strong cravings for them, that's where you got to be careful, because that's where the narcissist might have their eye on you. They might be heat checking you. They might be using flying monkeys to see how you're doing. And when the narcissist realizes, either by observing you directly or through other people, that you're getting over them, that you're getting past the trauma bond, that you're moving on with your life, that's when they so often decide to make a return into your life. That the hoover comes in some way, shape, or form. And they want you to respond favorably to it. Sometimes they actually want to make their way back in your life because they realize, you've got good things going for you again, you've healed, it's time for round two. And sometimes they just want the validation, which is knowing that if they did want you back, they could get you back. But sometimes they don't actually want to fully engage yet. They just want to test the waters through the hoover. But what's important for you is that when you're at that stage where you're getting past the months or years of the trauma bond, just letting the narcissist wear out of your system, and then they touch base with you again, they try to get back in touch with you, you have to be very careful not to let that addiction go right back to square one, which is to entertain the hoover, to entertain them back in your life. So the moment of the hoover, everything that comes with that it really is a huge moment, because that's a new turning point for you, where either you're healed enough and self-conscious enough that you won't go back to them or entertain them, relapse, or you might not be self-aware about the dangers involved with the hoover, or maybe you still miss them, maybe you do relapse, maybe you do fall, in which case your recovery starts almost from square one again, because they'll abuse you, they'll get you re-addicted to them, they'll set you on your euphoric highs very quickly, they'll rekindle that horrific addiction that you had that wasn't healthy, but you depended on it in such a way where it's going to take you ages to let that wear off again once they give you the inevitable discard soon again. So I'm not going to get really into what the round two looks like. If you entertain the hoover, to keep that short, it doesn't typically last very long. It's similar to round one in terms of the ups and downs, but it tends to be a kind of fast forward version of round one. And then you're right back where you were. What you should really pay attention to is just understand that the hoover, the narcissist trying to come back into your life, is a test to where you are in your healing journey, is a test to your understanding, is a test to your strength. And even though you might feel that impulse to kind of go back to them, maybe you might feel it's the easiest thing to do. You might even feel like it's the path of least resistance, is to go back and be all consumed by everything they represent. You need to let that go and not fall for that. Sometimes you do need to fall for that once or twice or three times before you really learn the lesson. But if you understand that you were dealing with a narcissist, if you understand the toxicity of narcissism, then you're already well on the path of understanding everything that the disorder entails and how you should react to certain things like the hoover. If you're reading about narcissists, listening to videos, recordings of narcissism such as this, then you're probably in a position where you don't need to fall for any more hoovers, because you've already gone up the learning curve of narcissism and how to deal with the people and what you need to be thinking about going forwards. So just realize that really is an important turning point when you're just about healed, or when you're sufficiently healed that you don't really feel you need them anymore, and they come back to try to rekindle that toxic addiction in you for them. And you need to really take a step back. Don't respond, don't entertain, and just realize that that's the moment of empowerment for yourself. We have to prove to yourself that you are capable of continuing your life without caving into them every time they just want to reach out to you. Because for them, they might have a moment of pleasure, but if you give into it, they get that moment of pleasure, that moment of validation, maybe a bit of supply from you. But your whole life is turned upside down again. And it could take you months or years to recover again. Whereas for them, it's just an instantaneous kind of moment. See what happens. It's not proportionate. They just don't care enough about you. They don't care about you being a separate person. They just want the supply and validation. And then, of course, sometimes they enjoy watching the power they have over other people, which is watching other people fall. So just stay in your power, stay in your knowledge, stay in your understanding, stay on your path for healing, improving, growing, pursuing other things, being stable in yourself, and just don't entertain the hoover. And understand that it's not in your interest to do that, and you don't have to. And you are past the narcissists. Don't forget that they are your past, not your future.